All right, guys, we're going to call therapist Nikki and talk to her about red flags because apparently there's some other color flags that we're unaware about. We're so focused on the red that we didn't know about the green or the yellow.
Hey, how are you ladies doing?
Hey, sorry, I was trying to text you, but there's no service where we are. And then Tracy texted someone and said, we're calling you in a little bit. And it wasn't you. So that was awkward.
That was fun.
I'm sorry.
She texted someone and was like, hey, therapist Nikki. And they were like, who is
I
this?
was like, it's Tracy. Can we call you in 5 minutes? They're like, Tracy who? I'm like, from Bad Examples. They're like, do I know you? And I was like, this is weird. This just got weird.
I was like, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
So today we're talking all about red flags. And, you know, we've talked about some of the obvious ones, like if they're a jealous person or, you know, if they do weird stuff like
ask for torture sex.
Yeah. Torture sex is a red flag, right, therapist Nikki?
Oh, it depends on if it's consenting.
Whoa. See, this is why we
is
need
the big
you.
word, consent. We just Googled torture sex, by the way. Some things you should never do. You should just leave it to the unknown.
Leave it to your imagination. So you were telling me very briefly that there's other color flags?
Yes, if we're going like by the traffic light system, there are yellow flags, which are, you know, things that you need to be cautious about, but it's not like a big glaring red flag.
Oh, this is what we need to know.
Oh my God. This
traffic light flags. What?
We could have used
I've been to traffic light parties.
I don't even want to know what that means,
Oh,
Tracy.
red means no, don't touch me. Green is like I'm down to go, and then what? Yellow is like, hit on me. We'll see.
What color did you wear?
Oh no,
Yeah.
I'm red. I'm like, don't fucking come near me. I'm a no fuck around bullshit girl.
Oh my God. Okay, so yellow is so I get that. So that was like some of our questions that we really were like, well, it could go either way.
Right. And then you have the green ones are like, oh, yeah, you're doing things right. You know how to do a healthy relationship. We'll let you express your interests that are interested in what you're interested in, like asking you questions. They're not calling you all the time. They're not showing signs of severe jealousy or love bombing. And
What's love bombing?
What's that?
love bombing. Have you ever had somebody that would say, oh, you know, we need to get married. You're the greatest thing ever. We're going to end up, you know, having all these adventures or kids or whatever. And like in the first couple weeks of meeting somebody.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
My
those people
friend
are
does
crazy.
this every guy she dates.
Yeah.
She's told me she's going to marry like the guy she's known for 3 weeks every single time. Like, cause he tells her that. Like she gets that's love bombing. Holy shit.
Oh,
There's a name for it. Love bombing. I love it.
That's not even like a yellow flag. That's a red flag.
That's
like
definitely
when
a
clients
red
come in
flag.
and tell me all about that. I'm like, nope, run away.
Run away.
Damn.
Yeah,
Like,
because
what?
it's
That's
not
sign
real.
of someone being insecure. No, it's not real. It's a fantasy,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a sign of someone being really insecure. So they have to tell you that all this stuff to get you to stay instead of just being who they are.
Whoa. They're telling you all the stuff to get you to stay. Wow. That's amazing. That's so true. That's exactly what it is.
That's yeah,
Holy
it's
shit.
like baiting somebody,
Love bombing.
saying all the things that you know that person needs.
Yep, and then that can lead to the bait and switch, like, oh, I'm all these things, and then you finally get with them and maybe even like marry them, and then they turn into someone completely different. That's the bait and switch. Like, oh I thought
yeah.
I was marrying this, and you're really an asshole or a bitch. And
Girls do that a lot too, where they like pretend they're cool and shit, and then they get the ring and they're like, can't see your friends,
No.
you can't go out for a beer, like they just shut it all down real quick. Can't see your family.
Yeah, this is miserable because this is the type of girl that like every guy fears, is like the obsessive. Oof.
And that's very controlling, and that's one way women abuse men, is being overly controlling and just demanding of their time, which is not talked about a whole lot, and it needs to be.
Yes, it does.
Like, you know, there are a lot of women who are abused, but men are abused just as much, actually.
Whoa, you're so. I have guy friends that like we don't see anymore because they like married a girl that like was cool in the beginning. We don't hang out, and now it's like they're not allowed out of the house.
It's terrible. I don't even understand it. It's such control. It's actual abuse. Yeah.
Wow, I never because it's a guy. I've never thought of it like abuse. Like I've never thought of that word, but you're right. It is.
It's
That's
mental and
eye-opening.
emotional abuse.
Yeah, it is. You're right. It's very eye-opening.
Or if like someone calls their partner all these mean names, like if they're not joking, because sometimes like in our business arrangement and stuff like that, we joke and tease each other and whatnot. But if it ever turns hurtful, we're like, no, we can't do that. That's a boundary.
Yeah, that's me.
But if we're calling names like, oh, you're such like a cold-hearted bitch, but it's not lighthearted and you're meaning it, or you're just such an asshole and all the time, and words, you absorb all that energy that you're putting into somebody.
Totally. So, okay, so yellow, green, and red flags. That's all the colors, right? What about the white flag? What's that? That's like, isn't that I give up?
This is like surrender,
the
send
white
help.
flag is like I give up, surrender.
That's me. Every day I post something about my kids and I'm like, send help with a white flag.
So have we covered all the flag colors?
And as far as in dating, I believe so. Now in, kink world, there's another thing called flagging, which there are a whole many other colors, which is a whole another episode for you guys.
What? Flagging?
What?
Oh, I can't wait. We need to discuss that. That will be a to be continued flagging.
Yes.
So when it comes to red flags, therapist Nikki, what is your advice on, I guess, how many? Listen, let's be realistic. We're all guilty of seeing red flags and ignoring them.
Right.
At what point does it come to where it's, dangerous? You know what I mean? Like where we've ignored too many.
Well, when you start giving up your values and parts of yourself for somebody, that's when it starts to become really dangerous.
Yeah.
If you're just sitting here with this person for the sake of being with them because you don't want to hurt them, or you put in so much effort, then it's time to really sit and think about why are you in this relationship? It's no longer adding to you. Now it's taking from you. And relationships are supposed to be you're adding to your life. You're adding joy and challenges and all these different sorts of things to who you are. It's not supposed to be draining.
Accurate.
Whoa. It sounds like common sense, but it's really...
It's such common sense. It's just when you're in it, you don't see it.
You don't see it.
You don't know how to get out.
But even like listening to her say it, it's just like, why is... It's so simple.
This is why people go to therapy,
complicated?
Because...
Right.
This is why people go to therapy, because they make it so clear, things that you could not see.
And you also have to think about the models that we've had growing up. We may not have had good role models for relationships. People saying, well, this is just how it is when you get with somebody. And so these are the norms, or this is how it's supposed to be, that's drilled into you from a young age. So you go along with it because that's what you're supposed to do, versus listening to your gut saying, this is bad, I don't want to do this, and actually living for yourself and your values.
I love that. I think that's a really good starting place for someone that's, unsure of if they've, fallen into the rabbit hole of red flags. Like they're surrounded by them, but they can't get out, is to take a good look in the mirror. So, instead of looking at the other person, look at yourself. And, if you're not happy, if you're, like you said, your values are gone, your way of everything about yourself. I think people that are deep in bad relationships that, they know it. They know it in their hearts, right?
Right. And I mean, and it could have started out innocently because you're having a good time. So you're in all this like new relationship energy, or NRE.
Ooh,
so
NRE. NRE.
NRE.
I love that. New relationship energy. We should do a therapist Nikki dictionary.
Yeah, she's got a lot of words like this.
Yeah. NRE. Yeah, no, you're so
That'd
right.
be awesome.
New relationship energy is a thing. That's another episode.
It's like big dick energy.
Yeah. It's the new relationship energy. I mean, you don't look at red flags. Who needs red flags when you're like you're falling in love with somebody?
Right. It's when you're in NRE, you're looking through them through rose-colored glasses, and when you do that, red flags just look like flags.
Whoa.
That's what I said. Love is colorblind.
Wow. Wow.
So then, it's not even love. It's all this dopamine dump that you have in your head because they hit the same receptors as drugs do. It's the pleasure system. So it's like you're getting a hit of heroin every time you're around this person.
Wow.
So you want more. And that can last for 6 months up to 2 years.
Holy
and then
shit.
And then the dopamine starts to give way to serotonin, which is that long-lasting that helps with the bonding along with oxytocin. So you start to
smart
be
enough
like,
for this conversation
person
right
like
now.
I need some of that dopamine. Therapist Nikki, what is your, what is your final thoughts on red flags? I mean, what do you think? They're there for a reason, right? We should follow our gut instinct.
Yes, follow your gut. And if someone's pointing out some red flags to you, put your ego aside and kind of apply it from an observing point of view. Like maybe they are, and maybe you need to watch some things. Because sometimes people are wrong, sometimes they're not. But you have to, please give credence to it that there may be some red flags that you're not looking at because it's like you're goo goo gaga over for this person.
That's the Dirty John movement.
Don't forget, guys, new clips air every Thursday. So see you next Thursday.
Hosted on dimlywit.com.
Even though we are not your best examples,
we're the best you've got.
So cheers, bitches.
Cheers. Make sure you subscribe to our channel for updates. And if you like this clip, share it with a friend.